Warmachine board, battle report. Cygnar versus Cryx.
Here's my army. The list is on the screen, and it's the same army I played at the last bat rep. And it's a Haley 2 shooty army. So it's all about shooting. Got Thorn in there, who's not a shooty thing, but you can channel spells through him. And then the Hunter and Stormwall are there. Sword Knights are there for jamming, and then everything else is shooting. So that's it. And here's your army.
Yeah, so this is my Cryx Denny non-shooty army. So I don't have anyone shooting here, but it's the first time I was playing Denny. And basically it's got a full unit of Banes, and obviously with Tartarus and a UA. I'm going to play Thrall, a Scarlock Thrall as an attachment to Denny, 2 Arc Nodes and 3 Heavies. So the idea would be to try not to get shot and see what value this list brings out as compared to my usual Morty list.
Okay, cool. And you won the roll-off, so you decided to go first?
Yeah, that's true. So I just kept them straightforward, and then first turn is mostly just everyone running up like it is with Warmachine.
Yeah, so here's my setup on the next slide. And I put the Stormwall slap bang in the middle. As usual, try not to give anything away. You can see the scenario we got is scenario 8, I can't remember what it's called, but it's the one with the zone in the middle. And then I set up on the flank because I could see that your Banes were on my left, and I wanted the Sword Knights to be jamming those guys up. And then I put all of the gun mages in the middle. They're fast enough to redeploy after I see where Deathjack goes.
Yeah.
And then Thorn, I thought that you would put Deathjack in the right-hand forest. So Thorn's there ready to use Time Bomb on Deathjack, which I think I ended up not doing in the end. So here's the advanced deployment. So you disappointed me by putting Deathjack not in a forest.
Yeah, no, I know how much you like that shiny model of yours. So I thought, okay, if he's standing on the flank, I don't want to be there because this game was all about denying your plan. Since you're playing, this is the first time I'm also facing the Stormwall, so I had little to no idea of what to expect. So yeah, I just thought I'd keep him closer to my army and also closer to my evil Banes. So my right flank is stronger definitely than my left one. But yeah, it's more or less just to deny you the joy of doing what you mentioned.
Okay. And I put the what's he called?
Hunter?
The Hunter. Yeah, I just put it next to the wall there. Again, I was hoping that Deathjack would be over in the right-hand forest. But yeah, I just put him about 5 inches forward, just hopefully giving enough space between him and Deathjack that Deathjack wouldn't be able to shoot him with any spells on your first turn. So, speaking of your first turn, there it is.
Yeah, so like I mentioned, just ran everyone up. So that's the Defiler right up there. This is one Arc Node, and then Deathjack also ran up, and the other guys just kind of shimmied and sheepishly moved forward. The reason why the Banes look all scattered is, like I said, it's the first time I'm playing with units, so I was just trying to get them to march straight and not get attacked by, I think, your B13 guys. The Black 13s have this nasty template hit, which I didn't want to get hit by, so I was already paranoid as if they can shoot 25 inches out, but yeah, they're just practicing to scatter.
No, that's fine. And Black 13th as well as, so Tartarus, you're not the only person in our group who plays Tartarus, and I almost always take the Black 13th, and so those two, so Tartarus and the Black 13th are always ones that people try and kill, because they're so dangerous. So Tartarus can just wade in and slaughter infantry, and Black 13th placing templates and again killing infantry. So next slide is my first turn. So I redeployed the gun mages over to the right because I wanted to avoid getting them in trouble with Deathjack. And I thought that they could do some more damage to the, more disruption to the jacks that are over there. Stormwall just walked up straight forward, put down Storm Pod, which you can see there in a couple of templates. Thorn ran up. He was actually where the 2 templates are, and then Haley cast Time Bomb at your... What's this Jack on the right-hand side?
That is the Reaper.
The Reaper.
Oh.
And that caught the Reaper and the little Arc Node Jack, and Deneghra, who's just behind the Reaper, caught them all and gave him a little speed debuff. I think I did some damage to
Deneghra got
well.
hurt up to the, I think, tune of probably 8 hit points.
Yeah, so that's a turn 1 assassination attempt. So that was quite a nice sort of thing, like a buffer for later in the game. And then Thorn just moved back with his reaction drive 3 inches to avoid getting charged by those 2 heavy jacks. Heavy jacks are generally pretty immune to the templates. It's only power 12, so it doesn't really do much to them. The storm pods there blocking Death Jack from charging the storm wall, if there was any chance of that happening. Sword Knights ran up. What else? The Hunter took a shot, I believe, at maybe Death Jack and moved him backwards.
Was it this turn? Maybe.
Did I move him back? Yeah, he's moved backwards a little bit. So the Hunter took a rune shot, what's it called? Thunderbolt shot, and moved Death Jack back. And because I did that, that meant that I didn't have to shoot him with Time Bomb from Thorn. So that was my original plan, to stop anything to stop Death Jack from charging anyone, because if that happens, then forget it. Black 13th ran up. I don't think they did any. The Storm Wall. So I shot your the Arc Node that was at the front.
Yeah, the Defiler who had run up learned that Colossals don't like little Arc Nodes in front of them.
I think no one likes Arc Nodes, especially when they're controlled by Deneghra.
Yeah.
So they have to die, otherwise she's crazy powerful. So that was a priority, was taking him down. Okay, so your turn 2?
Yep, so like you mentioned, Denny got hurt, so then I started reevaluating everything I was doing. In this turn, just those 2 heavies came up. Reaper shot your, what's this guy's name?
Thorn.
Yeah, shot Thorn, yanked him towards himself, and both of them started chipping away at him. In attempts to hurt him. Deadjack moved to the side, and I believe he didn't do much unless he sprayed someone with a template.
I think he tried to spray and it was out of range, I think.
Okay, that sounds about right. And then everyone else just shuffles at the back. And then my thinking here was, my first turn didn't go and you didn't react the way I was expecting you to. I thought the storm wall would be further up.
No way.
Yeah, but
not against the melee army.
Absolutely.
Against Banes.
Yeah,
I want to be as far away as possible.
Yeah, so I had to reassess everything, and as we'll see in the course of this, I was just basically reassessing and trying to get that perfect opportunity to debuff a chunk of your army, then maybe try to get some hits in. But you played well, and so what I did was just stayed back and I grabbed the closest guy.
Yeah,
that I could.
So it was a bit of a surprise to me because I keep on forgetting that you can use that harpoon.
Yeah. And
then Thorn suddenly in base contact with your 2 heavies there.
Yeah.
So I think he lost about half his boxes. I think he took out his shield.
Sure. Yeah.
So that was a little bit of a shock. I thought he would still be on my side of the template. And that kind of dictated what I did with him for the rest of the game. So moving on to my next turn. The Sword Knights ran to get past the rough terrain there, so that area of bricks on the left of the screen is rough terrain. Then I wasted an opportunity with the Hunter, so I gave him or did I shoot Deathjack? I can't remember. So the Hunter, at some point in the game, twice during the game, the Hunter got a focus from Strange Ways, and then tried to shoot someone that he couldn't shoot.
Sure, yeah.
And I can't remember. I think it was Tartarus.
Maybe you were trying to shoot Tartarus.
So I went, I'll shoot Tartarus, and then I realised he had stealth, so I couldn't do anything with that. The Storm Wall did a bit of shooting. I think he shot Deathjack, and maybe, or was it the Harrower? Is this the Harrower?
Yes,
one?
that's the Harrower.
Which is the one, the centre Heavy Jack, next to Thorn, on the right of Thorn.
Then you moved.
I did a nasty thing with Thorn, didn't I? So I teleported Thorn with Haley, and then the reaction drive took him another 3 inches. So I avoided 3 strikes from the Reaper with the teleport, and then I just moved just to the edge of the Harrower's melee range, which lined up Thorn exactly with Deneghra.
Yeah.
And then I was able to shoot her with a couple of spells, Arcane Bolt, I think it's called, but I don't think I did an awful lot of damage.
No, just a few hit points.
So just sort of, Thorn was half dead, so it was just kind of scare tactics for Deneghra, trying to stop her from coming forward. Stormwall, I think it shot the Harrower a couple of times, took out maybe a column or two. Put down the templates, put down the Storm Pod, trying to block the charges from your jacks there. And I also feated this turn as well, which prevented. I think Haley was quite a long way from everyone, but the front two Banes, Death Jack, the other two heavies, not quite the other Arc Node, and I think Tartarus, who's standing just behind Death Jack. They all got caught in that. The gun mages moved up, and I think they took some shots with critical brutal damage at one of the jacks, but chances of them doing any damage with those against heavy jacks is pretty slim, so I don't think that's worth going any further with that. I think that's it. So you're on next turn, so recovering from my feet turn.
So after your feet turn, obviously we managed to somehow kill the guy who was shooting at our Warcaster, who then also ran back into the forest, as you can see to the top right, and he's hiding there with focus now. I think the Harrower took a shot at your gun mages, killing one, or maybe, just one. And then the Banes moved up. Tartarus stayed where he was, because I was, just wanting to keep him for later. Deathjack moved up. He also, I believe he used 2 sprays to spray your objective.
That's right, he took out Ryan, he took out 2 of the Black 13th, and corroded the objective and the Stormwall.
So we can see the 2 because they're obviously under the Colossal, but there were 2 models.
Good, because those Black 13th would set up to do some damage to some Banes on the next turn.
Absolutely, so that was lucky that Jack could cast those 2 Venoms. And then I think that was mostly it. Everyone else has shuffled, and we're anticipating again the Stormwall, but I think you wanted to move him.
Yeah, that was my plan, and I'm an idiot, so that didn't work.
But that didn't really work out.
So Thorn's dead at this point. So moving on to the next slide, to my next turn. So my plan was, it's not a very sharp slide, unfortunately. My plan was to load up the Stormwall with focus and put temporal acceleration on him. And then my plan was to charge Deathjack, but what I then after I'd done all the preparation for that, I realised that, or rather you pointed out that there's an objective
kind of standing there,
and I said, well, it's fine, I'll just trample then. And you can't trample medium base, you can only trample small bases, so that kind of scuppered the plan for the Stormwall. So he just I think he just shot Deathjack, took out your movement, took out Deathjack's movement.
I think you shot him down to just 3 hit points left, and so he was basically gone with movement, which was super annoying. His right arm, he was almost dead.
So it was okay, and it's prevented Deathjack charging again the next turn. So as long as I'm doing that, I'm happy. What else? The gun mages, I think they shot your Harrower and knocked it backwards a bit, I think.
Yes.
The Sword Knights charged the Banes. So my idea was to only charge with the minimum number of Sword Knights, hopefully enough to maybe kill a couple of Banes, and then the counter charge against those few guys at the front would then get absorbed. And then the rest of the guys would then charge the Banes, remaining Banes. So that was the plan. Didn't quite work out. I mean, I killed one Bane and knocked the other one, forced a tough check.
He was tough
down. But in this case, because of the UA, knocking them down they don't care. They just get back up again.
They get up the next turn.
So that's what the Sword Knights did, and I think I had another failed turn with the Hunter. So I think he ended up shooting Deathjack. Maybe that probably helped bring him down to only have a few boxes. So this was the turn that I was hoping to seal the deal. Because my plan was charge Deathjack, throw him at Deneghra,
and she gets squished,
and then she'd at least get knocked over and probably squished, and Deathjack would die. No. So that's not that. No. So
at this point, I was just looking at that little one of your stormtroopers who was there, and I was like, oh look, yummy soul. I can just walk up to him. I can walk up to him because, of course, my movements were crippled. So then that's what I did. Immediately, Deathjack ran to him, consumed him. The Banes also consumed the ones next to him, healing that Jack again. All of his systems became okay.
That's so good.
I know. That was
Crazy.
fun.
It's a good combination.
Now
of Banes.
here is, like I said, the countercharge from the Banes. They attacked everyone, killed them, and then I think the Harrower took another shot at your gun mages, and they keep depleting one of the
took
arc
out 2
nodes.
that time, I think, because it was a 3-inch, so I didn't spread them out well enough.
Yeah, and then this little guy charged just to be annoying, and ran into them, didn't do any damage. Then this is the mistake, and in case you guys are wondering, Thorn is actually dead. We didn't have a wreck marker, so he's just standing there facing his army to make it look like he's mine. Yeah. But that's a little confusing. Anyway.
So he's dead, but he is just taking up the rough terrain space there.
And then here is, so the turn before, Denny was in the forest, and I wanted to move the lines of battle off to the left of the screen so that then I could pop feet with Denny and then possibly bring ruin upon the fair people of Cygnar.
Yeah.
But my lack of Warmachine knowledge let me down, so I parked Denny out of the forest, and then I had the mighty dark Bane Lord Tartarus run in front of her with his medium base, me thinking that she's safe behind the strong brooding man of a monster. And then it's your final turn, I think. Oh, and just to mention, the Scarlet Thrall had actually, I think, put crippling grasp on these guys, the Sword Knights, and then that's why they were dying easier. Anyway.
So the Sword Knights are kind of doing their job here. So the idea was to try and hold up the Banes and possibly make you group up a bit. So the way it looks at the moment, on your next turn, you would finish them off. Yeah. Because they've got so many debuffs on them, which is the power of Denny 1, is that she makes your opponent's stuff so weak that you can't not kill them. And it's great. So that my left flank is right on the edge of collapsing. And actually, at the end of your turn, after I made the mistake with the Storm Wall, I was starting to get quite worried. And then, so putting Tartarus in front of Denny. Now, earlier in the game, Tartarus, I tried to shoot him with a Hunter, and remembering him then, he had stealth, so I couldn't do anything to him. So, and now Tartarus is in front of Deneghra. This is an opportunity for an assassination, because stealth means that you don't block line of sight.
And now we all know.
Yeah, so it's not something I mentioned when you moved him in front, which was super mean.
That's okay.
But
now I'll never forget.
Yeah, so now it's important to know that your Banes and Tartarus won't block line of sight from shots. So I loaded up the Hunter with some focus from Strange Ways, and then moved him up directly towards her. And then the question was if I could kill her using a snipe shot, because I wasn't sure if she was more or less than 14 inches away.
And she was just at 15, I think.
Yeah, she was, I think it was like 14 and a half or something like that. And so I risked it. I didn't take the snipe, I took the critical brutal damage. So when I was boosting to hit, then I would get a good chance to get the crit and then really do some damage to her. But I took the risk, and it didn't pay off because she was more than 14 inches away. So I think that probably scared you a bit, but in the end it didn't do anything. So that was probably my better chance at killing Deneghra was gone. But what knew that I could also use the gun mages. Yeah. So I gave them Deadeye with Haley. Then I tried to run them away from your Bonejack, who was engaging a couple of them, and the free strike killed the unit attachment. Yeah. So just 3 guys just walked up, and then using snipe shots, they were able to hit Deneghra. Yeah. And
killed her.
Yeah. So that was the assassination. So I think my army, the attrition war was not going well, and my army was starting to collapse. Deathjack was back up to full effectiveness.
And he would have probably eaten up 2 more souls, unless he could trample and get 4 more.
Yeah, the Sword Knights would have died definitely on the next turn. your Banes are starting to get dangerously close to the storm wall. So even if I hadn't killed Deneghra on this turn, then I would have been chasing her anti-clockwise around the board with the storm wall and Haley.
I think it was a great game, and when I look at this, I just say, okay, what we need to do more is try to protect my caster a little better. So maybe the Reaper should have been standing in front of her rather than Tartarus, because that could have worked out better.
That would have helped. Yeah.
Instead of having him run back all that way. But overall, it was super good for me to learn about how the Stormwall, exactly what he's capable of doing.
Yeah.
What is the difference between gun mages and the Black 13th? Because I was a little confused about how that works. And now I know exactly how strong these the melee troops that you have are or aren't.
So in this game, I've really only got Sword Knights. So they're really the only. Also the Stormwall, but in this list, not in this game. The Sword Knights are really there to die. And to stop melee guys from getting to my shooting guys. So in that case, I guess they did their job.
They did it perfectly well. And I think I didn't know so about the way Thorn can be used to be all of this super awesome guy who can
really
teleport.
Nasty assassination. I can load him up with 4 focus. He can move 5 inches indirectly and then charge 15 inches and with his reach.
Nice.
So he potentially, like with your more Deneghra list, he could run around the edges and he can deal with nasty. And then he's an arc node as well. So even with all that movement, he can still channel spells. So Thorn's really expensive, but he's kind of great.
I think he pulled his weight in this game. He engaged my 2 to almost 3 heavies from the outset, and that just got me thinking about everything that I was going to do. Kind of kept Denny in that corner as well, but that was always I was expecting your Stormwall to park itself more to the right of the screen, which it never did. And maybe that would have resulted in chaos for you if I could push Denny into then Crippling Grasp him, and then maybe Feet. But then the plan, how do you say, all plans of mice and men, in this case, just the mice.
Mice and Banes in your case.
Mice and Banes. But yeah, I look forward to it. Next time, I'm not going to play a Reaper and hopefully have some Thralls. The Blood Thralls?
Yeah, you got to go for more troops. You have to.
Maybe more shooty guys. Let's see how it goes.
I feel like it's too many jacks for Deneghra.
Yeah, but I think I can do 1 less. So probably the Reaper goes out. That'll be 7 points, and then I'll add this new Overseer Morbilis and the 2 Blood Thralls. I think it's a new thing everyone's waiting for. I've pre-ordered, so I'm waiting for the shipment.
Oh right, they're not released yet.
No, at least the leader isn't.
Right.
It just makes them a little steadier to fire and hit, and they've all got templates of 4 to 5 of corrosion.
Okay.
And then I can have my own version of Black 13th to attack your lovely shooty people.
Cool. Looking forward to that.
Me too.
All right. Thanks very much, and see you on the next one.
Fantastic.
Bye.